Hello all. In last session we have seen what NLP is all about, the definition, scope, where NLP fits in AI, and then we've also seen where exactly are we using NLP. In today's session we'll be covering about historical development and the evolution of NLP. Along with that we'll also discuss some challenges in NLP. So when we first talk about historical development, before we actually go that, let us think about why NLP is important. When we talk about natural language processing as discussed yesterday, we have seen that it is very difficult for a computer to understand a human language taking into consideration the linguistics, right? So when we talk about making a computer understand a language, we also have to understand some basic concepts of linguistics, not just AI. So when we talk about human language, there's not just one language, we have n number of languages which is being used around the globe. So in order to understand, in order to make a computer understand all these languages would be a challenging task. So NLP makes it possible for computers to read the text, hear the speech, and then interpret it, understand it, and make necessary predictions. Okay, that is one reason, because when we talk about text data or speech data, the data is enormous, right? So we have large volume of data that the computer has to process when we talk about language processing. And secondly, when we talk about other important reason why we need NLP is the data that is available is the text data or speech data that is available in terms of human language is unstructured. Okay, so NLP helps us to solve this ambiguity in language and adds useful numeric structure to this particular data for many applications in terms of text processing, document summarization, language processing, language translation, and so on. So basically, large volumes of data and unstructured data when we deal with speech. Okay, so that is the reason we use NLP, and that makes NLP special. And when we talk about history of NLP is not just the recent development or advancement. So the advances in NLP has started since 1948, where automated translation, a dictionary lookup system was developed in London, which can be seen as the first NLP application. Okay, so basically dictionary, converting one word to another, giving the meaning of that particular thing. The dictionary is actually considered as the first application of NLP in 1948. In the following years, followed by World War, researchers have tried to work on more areas or concepts of NLP, and in 1957 American linguist Noam has published syntactic structures. Okay, so this revolutionized the theory of linguistics, and this influenced NLP to look forward such that the current evaluation has come into picture. Okay, and after that in 1966 automatic language processing advisory committee, a report was published, okay, which highlighted the limited success of this machine translation because there were so many drawbacks in this particular thing. So they highlighted the drawbacks of machine translation which lagged in so many areas. So followed by that, considering all these semantic challenges, followed by that in 1970 AI has come into picture, where NLP is influenced by AI with focus on not just the linguistic but also on world knowledge and meaningful representations, right? So with NLP pre-existing till 1970, with AI coming into picture, added advantage has come into existence, wherein when we've started with 1980 eras, we have started working on statistical NLP with the adoption of machine language. Okay, so we have used annotated bodies like corpora, which we call it as corpus as of now. So we have used large volumes of text data. We started working on machine learning algorithms and tried to process that text data using machine learning algorithms. So they say every time the statistical NLP has brought a huge success than linguistics all alone. So wherein they have framed this saying, every time I fire a linguist, the performance of a speech recognition system goes up. Okay, so in 1982 again there was a project which is launched to simulate natural human conversation, the chatbots that we call now, or that we have started using as of now every frequently by every commercial app or website, was initially started in 1982, which were usually called as natural human conversation in the pass of this Turing test. Okay, so this heralds the beginning of chatbots. Okay, then after that in 1998 we have started working on semantic role modeling, taking parsing into consideration, right? So we'll look into what is this parsing. Parsing is an NLP task. Okay, I'll explain you clearly about what is this parsing, what are the different other NLP tasks in the next session. And after this, when we look into 2000s, the next eras, coming deep learning into picture. They've started working on feed forward neural networks considering word embeddings. Okay, so with the evolution of deep learning, wherein we have studied about ANN, CNN, RNNs plays crucial role in natural language processing. So taking into consideration the RNN architectures, LSTM and GRUs, advanced architectures in NLP has come into picture in early 2000s. And after that in 2003 LDA, latent Dirichlet allocation, was invented, which has become widely used in machine learning, as all of us know. And after that, after a decade, improvements have been taking place in word embeddings when we started using RNNs. So when we started using LSTMs, advanced architectures, LSTMs and GRUs, the advancements in word embeddings have taken place, which has helped NLP, natural language processing task, much easier with very good accuracy. So after that in 2016 Microsoft has come into picture with their own chatbot. Twitter started interacting and conversing, and then Google replaced its normal phrase based translation system with neural machine translation, which was developed using deep LSTM architecture, as all of us know about it. Okay, so using this neural machine translation, as you can see, the existence of neural machine translation has reduced the error rate to 60%. By 60% the error rate was reduced when we compare the phrase based translation system to, as you can see, the translation accuracy of Google earlier was so different compared to the translation accuracy that Google gives us right now. Okay, so this, based on that, we have gone for sequence to sequence language learning, which was proposed in 2014, wherein NLU have come into picture, which I am going to discuss now in the preceding session. Okay, so when we talk about NLP basically, or the evolution of NLP, when we talk about evolution of NLP basically, so we had the past NLP, where we have started with basic dictionary or phrase based translation systems by Google. Currently we use this natural language processing, and future holds ahead. So when I talk about the current scenario or the present natural language processing, I divide the entire natural language processing into two tasks. One is called as natural language generation, and the second one is called as natural language understanding. We call them as NLG and NLU. When I talk about NLU, the linguistics comes into picture. When I talk about NLG, it is simply natural language text. So I would like to discuss these two contexts in detail today in the session. So when I talk about natural language understanding, which deal with linguistic, as we have seen, semantics, syntax plays a major role. How the structure of the word is formed and how the meaning of the word is being taken into consideration in a given sentence. Okay, so when I talk about that, we also take into consideration other terminologies of linguistic, like phonology related to the words, and then pragmatics, how the sentence is formed, and then morphology. Okay, now when I talk about natural language generation, okay, so the Tesseract or the chatbots, or when I talk about chat GPT, all this comes under different applications of NLP, in short, comes under either natural language generation or natural language understanding, or sometimes few applications consider both of them. Now, so when I talk about evaluation, the evaluation started basically from human computer interaction. So we program and the computer gives us result, right? Typical programming, we program, computer gives us results, right? So we have started with human computer interaction, and that has gone till human computer conversation. right? So when I talk about virtual assistants, so we are taking into picture conversation with the computer. So initially it was human computer interaction, so that has evolved to human computer conversation. Apart from that, when I go for the next step of advancement, the critical part of first NLP advancement was biometrics, facial recognition, and then biometrics, hand gesture, your retina, all this image recognition with respect to CNN are processed as part of first advancement of NLP. And then when I talk about the second critical part of NLP advancement, humanoid robots, right? So with ML, DL into picture along with natural language processing, humanoid robots were the critical applications that is come into picture. So this is how the evaluation of AI has taken place with NLP in picture. Now, when I talk about NLU and NLG, as you can see, NLP is all about computer reading the language. When I talk about NLB, computers writing the language, generating the language or writing the language. When I talk about NLU, computer understanding. So reading, writing and understanding are the three different tasks when I talk about human language processing, and that is done by NLU and NLG. Okay, now let's talk about NLG first. When I talk about NLU, NLU is a branch of NLP which helps computer to understand and interpret the language by breaking down the elemental pieces of speech. So they will be able to learn, recognize the syntax, understand the context, learn the patterns in the sentence, and then give the definitions, understand the sentiment and process that particular sentence. So this is all about natural language understanding. When I talk about language generation, okay, so this is also a part of NLP which is used for delivering a meaningful personalized experience beyond the prescripted responses. Okay, so this also again requires NLP into consideration, and chatbots are one simple example of natural language generation which interrogates the data repositories, understand them, and then give they go through the third party databases and use that particular information in creating the response back. Now, so as I told you, depending upon applications, we either choose NLU or NLG. When I talk about language modeling and article generation, we use NLG. When I talk about text classification, when I want to classify text, whether it is a positive text, negative text, or what type of document it is, then I have to understand the document. So that is an NLU task. Machine reading comprehension, name entity recognition. This is another important task of NLP. Which also comes under understanding. If you want to find out the name entities in the given sentence, then we have to understand that particular sentence, which is a NLU task. Okay, parsing, all these are different applications of NLU. Sometimes there are other applications like chatbot where understanding and generation are required. So chatbot, summarization, question answering systems, translation are few applications which uses both natural language understanding and natural language generation. Okay, now this is the brief summary of both of them. NLU is all about analysis and NLG is all about synthesis. An application may involve one or both of them. Sentiment analysis and semantic searches are examples of NLU because I have to understand them. Captioning an image, like generating something extra out of given information, comes under NLG task. Text summarization and chatbots are applications of both NLU and NLG. So basically, apart from NLU and NLG, we also sometimes come across NLI, which stands for Natural Language Interaction, of which Amazon Alexa and Siri are examples. Okay, so this is basically all about NLU and NLG. Now, the next topic that I would like to discuss in this session is all about the challenges of NLP. Okay, so when I talk about challenges, as I've discussed in the first slide today, we have enormous data. The data is huge, large volume of speech and text data, and apart from that, when I talk about this language processing also, the data is unstructured. Along with those two challenges, we also have to we also see that systems are yet incapable of understanding the way humans do, because sometimes when I give you speech data, or sometimes a human may give sarcastic comments which can be shown as negative looking at their face, but when I give the same sarcastic comment as a sentence in the computer may not be able to predict it in the way the humans want to express. So that is one thing. So the progress of pattern matching has to be improved still. And in the area of chatbots, there's a need to model some common sense, because as all of us use chatbots, if you ask a chat, if I go to a Swiggy food delivery app and I ask irrelevant question, I get the answer which is which does not match to my question, because the question is beyond its capability. And when I talk about the number of languages, so Africa alone has 2100 languages being used, and so just measuring the progress is just a challenge. So we need data sets, we have to evaluate them, we need to go for different models, and then concentrate on our goals. So this is all about few challenges of NLP. Okay. So with this we are done with session. Let's continue in the next session. Thank you.